Good afternoon, dear students. In the last video from Pranita ma'am, you have studied about various types of crops. In this video, today's video, we are going to study about some of the important agricultural practices. So for this, I will be sharing my screen with you and we will be studying today about the various agricultural practices. Yes. So, first of all, why these agricultural practices are important? Agricultural practices involves all the steps taken for the better yield of a crop. We have seen about various types of crops. So, what will be the actual steps taken for producing a good quality of crop? That practices are known as the agricultural practices. Now, this is a flow chart which is showing you the different or the major steps involved in the agricultural practices. The step number one is your soil preparation, followed by sowing of the seeds, then proper irrigation of the crop, and lastly, harvesting of the crop. So these are the major four in agricultural practices. Now we will see what are the subtypes to it. Again, you can see in this flow chart, number one, it's preparation of soil, that is preparing the soil for the sowing of the seeds. Second step is sowing of the seeds. Once the seeds are sown, then it becomes important to give the seeds proper nutrients, which is done with the help of adding manures and fertilizers. After that, the crop needs to be properly watered. So watering of crops is known as irrigation. Sometimes, along with the main crop, some unwanted crops also grow side by side to it. Such crops are called the weeds, and the process with the help of which the weeds are removed is called the process of weeding. After weeding, after removing unwanted crops, when your crop grows to the fullest, then the time comes for its harvesting. That is separating the crop from the soil. It is called harvesting, or cutting of the crop is called harvesting. After harvesting comes the process of threshing. In case of threshing, we need to separate the crop from the husk. Separating the crop from the husk is called threshing, and followed by after threshing comes the storage. How to store the crop properly so that it can live, or it can be good for a longer period of time. It can be used for a longer period of time. That is storage. Now, first one, that is the preparation of soil. Preparation of soil includes two major steps: plowing and leveling. Plowing the soil means we have to loosen the soil, loosening of soil. Why loosening of soil is important? Because when the soil will be loosened, it will have air spaces in them, so that air will be absorbed, the nutrients will be absorbed by the soil properly. This plowing is done with the help of a plow. So this plow can be made up of iron, as well as it can be made up of wood. So the advantages of plowing is it helps the soil to get its nutrients, and it allows the roots to penetrate deeper inside the soil. Next one. So these are the instruments which are used for the plowing. One is the wooden plow and one is the iron plow. As we have already seen, there are two types: wooden plow and iron plow. Next one is leveling of the soil. Once the soil is loosened, then there will be more big blocks of soil will also be there. So we will be breaking those big blocks and we will be leveling the soil. Leveling the soil will give us a uniformity when we will be sowing the seeds. So it will give the land a uniformity for the growing of the crops. So leveling is done to make the soil for sowing of seeds. Again, it can be done with both some traditional equipments as well as the modern equipments. In the traditional equipment, we have a wooden leveler, whereas in the modern equipments, we have an iron leveler. So it will not only break the big blocks of soil, but it will level the land properly for the sowing of seeds. Next one. Next is the sowing of seeds. Sowing of seeds means we have to now put up the seeds so that the proper crop growth will be there. So now this sowing is done by broadcaster and seed drill. Broadcaster is the equipment which was used traditionally, or the traditional way of sowing the seeds is done by broadcaster. So in broadcaster, as you can see in the diagram, a person is having a basket in his hand and simply he is taking those seeds and he is just distributing the seeds on the land. That's it. Second, the modern technology, it involves the use of seed drill. Now, what is the use of seed drill? Advantage of seed drill is that seed drill helps to uniformly distribute the seeds. It will help in maintaining a proper distance between the seeds so that crops will also get plenty of space to grow properly as well as to absorb proper nutrients. Yes. Now we are done with the two steps. Number one, the preparation of soil. Number two is the sowing of the seeds. Now, after the seeds are sown, it becomes important that the seeds should get proper nutrients for their proper growth. Sometimes the soil is having those necessary nutrients, but sometimes the soil is lacking those necessary nutrients. So how we can give the necessary nutrients to the soil? It can be done with the help of manures and fertilizers. Basic difference between manure and fertilizer is manure is made with the help of natural ingredients, like when the dead plants, with the help of dead plants and animals, when they will decay, then they will convert into manure. And fertilizers, they are mainly produced in the factories. They are some, or when fertilizers are prepared, certain chemicals are added for making the fertilizers. So naturally, manures are a good option rather than fertilizers. But if the manure is lacking in some of the nutrients, then we can make use of fertilizers. Also, care needs to be taken that fertilizers should not be used in excess amount. Otherwise, it will damage the crop also. Next one. Next, now we have sown the seeds, we have given them proper manure, proper nutrients. Now again, we know that for the proper growth of a plant, three things are important. Number one is proper soil, number two is proper sunlight, and number three is proper water. So watering the crop is known as irrigation. The process by which the crops are watered, it is known as irrigation. Okay, now this irrigation, what it helps to do, it helps to give the soil the two major nutrients, that is macronutrients, that is one is oxygen and one is water, one is hydrogen, as water is made up of these two elements, hydrogen and oxygen. So this is known as irrigation. Next one. Now the types of irrigation. The types of irrigations depends on the quality of the soil as well as the quality of the crop. Soil based irrigation. Soil based irrigation means mainly we know that there are two types of soil, sandy soil and clay soil. Sandy soil, as it has more space in them, it requires it requires more water because the water easily goes through it. It travels through the sandy soil more easily than the clay soil. But in clay soil, if we are giving less water also, it can hold that water for a longer period of time. Next one is your crop based irrigation. Crop based irrigation means some of the crops like the paddy crop, it requires more amount of water. So such, when we are irrigating the crop, we have to take care, we have to take into consideration the property or the type of the crop also, the requirement of the crop also. Next one. Next one, what are the methods of irrigation? So there are various methods of irrigations. Some are the traditional methods and some are the modern methods of irrigation. Now, traditional methods of irrigation. Traditional methods of irrigation involves the pulley system, that is just like the well, we are drawing water from a well. Chain pump, with the help of pump we can draw water through a tube well or a well. Dhekli system, Rahat system. Now we'll see how these systems are. We'll see the diagrams for these systems. Yes, number one, mode system. As I told you, just drawing a water from the well with the help of chain pump. That is, various buckets are arranged, and with the help of electricity, that water is taken up. Next one is your Rahat system. In Rahat system also a circular ring is there which is constantly rotating, maybe with the help of bullock carts, maybe uh, with the help of a person also we can move that circular ring, and buckets are arranged on the circular ring. When the ring moves inside the water, the buckets they get filled up with water, and then when they come up, then they are taken into a, they are emptied in a small pot from where it can be used for the irrigation purpose. Dhekli system. In Dhekli system, a large stone is attached at the one end, and at other end one bucket is there. When the bucket is empty, the piece of wood will come up and the bucket will go inside. When it will get filled with water, then we can, with the help of a rope, we can pull the bucket up, and the stone, large stone at the end, it will help to move that log of wood down. So these are some of the traditional methods of irrigation. Now we will see the modern methods of irrigation. Yes, in modern methods of irrigation, we have mainly drip irrigation, sprinkler irrigation, and fertigation. Now, drip irrigation method. In drip irrigation method, a long pipe is there, long tube is there, and at certain distance to the tube, small holes are made in it, so that when water will run through the tube, drop by drop, drop by drop, drop by drop, water will be supplied to the crops. This is called your drip irrigation. Next one is your sprinkler irrigation. Sprinkler irrigation, sprinklers are attached to the, at certain distances. Some sprinklers will be attached, and that sprinklers continuously they will keep on rotating so that they can occupy a large area also, so that so many or large number of crops will be watered simultaneously. So basically, today we have seen about the three major steps in your in agricultural practices. That is, number one, preparation of soil, number two, sowing of seeds, and number three, the irrigation methods. Rest of the methods we will be discussing in the next video. Hope this video was useful for you. Thank you so much for listening to this video.